Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today. I want to start off this show by sharing a very relevant statistic about confidence. According to Psychology Today, estimated 80 of the world's global population, 85%, have a lack of self belief. This is an incredibly relevant and pertinent topic to not hundreds of people, not thousands of people, not even millions of people. This could potentially be billions of people are lacking this self belief. This is incredible. So, really relevant and something that we need to honestly have more open conversations about. But what's special about this show today is that we're going to be talking about the psychology of confidence. And who better than to talk about the psychology of confidence with other than my friend and colleague, Dr. Ardeshir Mehran. Dr. Ardeshir is a keynote speaker and best-selling author of the book, You're Not Depressed, You're Unfinished. He is also an executive leadership coach and change psychologist. This is also his third time on the show, and he has agreed for another interview. And every single time we talk to each other, we get a lot of engagement, we get a lot of positive feedback, and honestly, our goal is to help a lot of people. But without further ado, Ardeshir, thank you so much for coming on the show today, my friend.
Great. Tara, lovely to see you, to be with you for a topic that is so important to everybody from kids to grown-ups to grandparents about confidence and welcoming our colleagues there. I was checking the name of people who signed up from multiple continents, countries. Welcome, and hope you find this session helpful. And also, I want to acknowledge that number of our colleagues from Middle East, from Jewish faith, that they are dealing with tragedy and trauma that is heavy on our heart and soul. So that's important to realize the context, but our world. So I like to start with the science and backing to that. As you know, that I love problem solving in psychology, and my book about You're Not Depressed, You Are Unfinished, that the essence of that is that we clinicians, we don't understand depression. We're trying to solve the symptoms versus depression is not about symptoms. It's about the life unlived, about the experiences of humans missing. I want to net confidence, going to the statistics. Confidence at its core is about connection. So I will share with you the definition that how actually is this developed. I give you a case study and we'll share with you an operational definition of confidence that so you will see I actually can take a snapshot, which I use in my coaching clients. So the term confidence or self-worth or self-esteem came to prominence by the David Hume, British philosopher in 18th century. And the essence of confidence is from the Latin word, I'm looking at my note, is fiduciary, which means trust, faith, reliance, assurance. And when initially philosophers defined that, it was an individual creating a sense of trust and confidence in relationship to others. That you trust me, I trust you, we trust each other. There's a sense of benevolence and caring for one another. That sense of confidence was established at that point. It was sense of interrelationships. As we got to 20th century and modern psychology, gradually confidence moved from connection to an individual and became a trait. So if I ask you, dear listeners, go to a bookstore, to social media, and get a picture of somebody showing confidence, probably you will come back with a picture of a woman or man looking great, looking confident, almost like a picture of Tara and myself. We're trying to look the part. We look self-assured. We love what we do. That, in fact, is what's the problem. We think about confidence of a alpha dog, I am here and I'm invincible. That's what's gotten us into trouble. We're trying to be invincible, to be strong. For me to be confident, I need to dominate you. Versus confidence is about interrelationships. I want to share with you the definition and give you a case study what I mean. Tara, if you don't mind sharing that, this is one page, and the listener to take a snapshot of this. Confidence, as I define it and I practice, there's an element to that. There's dimensionality. And what it is that propelling myself and others, me and you, to experience a greater sense of connection, trust, and courage to make a difference. And has three components of connecting, elevating, and illuminating. And there are behaviors construct under that I've been using that. So please take a snapshot of this and then let's remove it. So I want to guide you through that. 1, 2, 3, please take it, and Tara, if you don't mind, to remove it. So confidence is only meaningful in relationship to others, quality of connection we have, and what are we trying to do. There's a purposefulness to that. There's a road to go to accomplish. So let me give you a case study, the client example that happened in April of this year. So I got a call from an HR business partner who knew me from years ago, said that we have a senior leader on succession planning to become a vice president. A great guy is in the Silicon Valley, which is about 5 miles from my house this way. And there's a problem with him. When he gets in front of the board members, he's in charge of the new product strategy. He gets tongue-tied, he gets hesitant, he loses his voice, and he becomes timid when he needs to lead the strategy. And the whole thing had blown up. 3 weeks ago, in front of the board members, he was presenting the strategy, and board members, as they should, they were challenging him. And he was getting passive, not really talking about what's needed, holding his own. And basically his boss had to come in and close the session. So the manager of the client also got on the call later on, and he was keep saying the HR business partner was saying that he needs more confidence, more self-esteem, and the manager was saying that he needs more gravitas. That's very interesting language to use. So I went to see this individual, and I talked with him beforehand. I said that, tell me about that session, and I invited him that, can we go to that conference room that you give a presentation? Let me see you, the presentation you gave, walk me through that, and let's do this work together for me to observe this. So I met him, he's Eastern European, late 30s, incredibly intelligent. Like when he came to see me, they had a very fit, shirt, and you could see he's working out. I could see his, six pack, and really strong person. So he had all the elements of a very confident body. We went to the conference room, and it was a long conference room. And I asked him, sit wherever you're sitting, giving your presentation, head off the table. And I asked him, where were some of the key leaders? They were sitting in the other side of the table. So I said, I'm going to go sit on the other side of the table, watch your presentation. And I brought my iPad, and I said, the practice is that you present, and I record you 3 minutes. We'll stop, you and I watch the video, you tell me what you're seeing, and one tiny behaviors, we go playback. As he was getting to move toward giving a presentation, I noticed the following. So I want to give you some practices to notice when we're dealing with confidence or confidence being compromised. I noticed his eye contact was shifting. So I'm trained in trauma, in behavioral the analysis. And there's a quality, his eye contact with me became very flat. He was looking at me, but not really looking at me. And there's a hollowness for those of us on the call who trained in trauma work. You look at the person, but what you're looking at the person is that he's seeing, how am I responding to him? I notice he's looking at me is almost saying that, am I doing okay? Am I doing right? I mean, like you're trying to get feedback about how am I responding. So he's a tall guy, both of us 6 feet. He's a very solid guy. And notice his body bending forward. He's almost trying to make himself small. So that was giving me clue that this is not about gravitas. This is about the self-perception, how I see myself. And as he started to talk, his language, his Eastern European, very boisterous, very strong voice, his language became monotone and flat. Basically, he was trying to make himself small, invisible, and he was moving to the space. And again, I'm going clinical here, space of shame. Shame, going to Brené Brown work. Guilt is that you did something wrong. Shame is that there's something wrong with you. So we did the 3 minutes, several around, and we sit around the table. And so he told me, so Ardeshir, what did you see? So the model you saw a few minutes ago, I said that, dear colleague and client, this is what I see is going on. And let me share with you. So I want to share with you, the listener, about a way to think about confidence. Confidence has 3 components and they go hand in hand, not necessarily linear. The first one is that how do you show up at any moment with your family, with your coworkers, with your neighbor, with your children? And the first thing is, how is your body, your presence show up? So if you go to social media, the work of Amy Cuddy, Cuddy, or Deborah Gronfeld from the Stanford University about body presence. How do you open your body? That, the way even like Deborah says, that you sit in the room for men and women, put your arm on the chair and there open your chest, your head. So you are really claiming your body. When body is present and is strong, your nervous system settles and trusts you. The moment you go like this, many of my clients, they show up for sessions like this, and I invite them, what are you seeing? Basically, you're in a space of timidity. That means you do not see yourself as the strong. So part of that, honoring your body is meant to be strong. Your body is meant to be alive and present. So number one, number two, any situation with anybody requires a sense of connection first. So what that client was doing, as he told me, he entered to the room, to his laptop, turned the monitor on, start to go right to presentation. He was nervous. A better way was go into the room. There are board members, some of the board members and the senior executive. Go shake hand with them. Hey, how are you? Great to see you. We don't know each other. Smile, really human connection. So act of confidence start with building connection. Simple greeting, skin to skin, shaking hands. See the other person smile. Connect with them because you are not delivering a show or content. You're talking human to human. You're building trust. In that way, your body, going to the neurology, your body calms down that these are not adversaries. These are people, just like me. The next one, he's a senior leader. All of you on this call, you have a purpose. There's something you do. To know your net. No conversation is just shooting the breeze. Sometimes, we do that, but when you're in this professional setting, there's an element of edge. You have a point of view. Right now, I'm presenting a point of view to you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to convince you. I share with you what I believe in. And I want to make sure I'm clear, I'm logical, and I convey both the facts and my belief to you. That's what I'm doing right now. Then there's an element, both edge and judgment. Judgment is that, why do you need to listen to me? That why this idea matter? What is the business case? So there's a logical and a more, if you do A, B will lead to C, that I'm trying to build my business case. So whenever you present something, you negotiate, you talk to a friend, there's an element of edge and judgment. that is involved, and this is through your own voice, through your body, through your storytelling, and through your hand gesture, so people can follow where you stand. The third element is about illuminating. Illuminating is that you're showing a way, you're guiding a path. That's about confidence. And that there's a two element, yin and yang go together. There's an element of conviction is not your, like hammering a point of view. There's an element, I believe in this. So when I was talking to that individual client, he presented a point of view. It wasn't a point of view, it was a recommendation he believed in. But he didn't know that the leaders around the table, they expected him to take a stand. Do you believe in this? Show us why. And he folded. And also being flexible. Every point of view, there are always pushbacks. There are always, now I don't believe in this. Why do I trust you? That's great. That is great. So be open to take pushback, bring it in, enhance it, and move forward versus saying that, I don't know what to do. So the work we did, it was inside out with this client. Find your body, find your stance, and know your point of view. And then where do you want to take the people and on the journey? And we did this in a 3 minutes increment, practice, practice, practice. Something that came up is the whole notion of false self. This is very important. What this individual, I talk about Eastern European, he came from the company's European office to the US, and he had the heavy accent. At times it was hard to understand him, and he was a rising star, very ambitious. He came here and he was sitting, as he said, with other alpha dogs. It was basically engineering male culture. And he was getting intimidated with other Western European or American colleagues. And he was getting his own childhood criticism, the tongue lashing by his own dad, which was in military, was coming up. He basically was losing his voice. So what he was doing, it was trying to be like those other American colleagues, that he was trying to be like them and play a role versus his role. So that was a false self, that to be successful, you need to be certain ways. That's the reason he was exercising like crazy every day to really build muscle, that this is how you're successful in America. That's so a sense about who you really are. And the work that I invite you, if you're interested in false self, by psychoanalyst Alice Miller, who talks about the childhood imprints and childhood trauma, that how all of us, as a way to be loved, accepted, or not hurt, we trust and adopt what are be told. Be this way, be a good girl, be a good boy, don't raise your hands, don't put your hands down. We become what we need to do to survive, to get by. We get to certain level, usually after early 30s, start realize those behaviors are not me. I'm different. For example, some of you who've seen me over the years, I am different because I finally found me, my voice, what I'm supposed to do on this earth. This is about finding your rhythm, how you are. And it's not about emulating somebody else. It's about what's your message? What is your passion? What is your conviction? And bring your body, your entire essence into the conversation to connect, to build trust. So together we get something done, move a cause forward. That's the essence of confidence. So going to what you mentioned, that drastic statistics, because we think confidence is something I have in me, and if I'm low, something is deficient. No, it's really quality of connection you have. How will you connecting? How will you building trust? How will you know your story, what you need, going to false self, and how in that context of connection, work, family, community, place of worship, you get something done for the betterment of everybody, and yours included. So Tara, please ask question, push back, and I know you're expert in this area. Bring your perspectives.
Wow, so many gold nuggets, but you're describing a lot of things that I'm really passionate about. One of them is public speaking, right? So I completely relate to that Eastern European client you were helping because I was once the same way. And guess what? I had childhood trauma as well. But the things that you're talking about, and we did not prepare this, as in, I didn't know that you were going to be talking about these things because this is part of what I've helped myself get on stage and how I've helped myself get comfortable and now how I help clients as well. One of the first things that I do is try to meet other people in the audience to form
Yeah,
that human connection.
yeah,
And there's a lot to be said about that because, confidence, it's not arrogant. It's not. True confidence, I believe, is built on authenticity. It's built on that human connection. And it wasn't until I started connecting with people, started putting those reps in, and really started showing up authentically that I started to become confident as well. But, connecting with others on a real soul level too, not just having, you know, very shallow conversations with people, but having, deep conversations with people. Really forming human connection is so important. But another thing that you said is really important: nonverbal human communication. Oh my gosh, nonverbal communication is huge. How much of our communication is nonverbal? It's a lot, right? And then if we have shrinking communication, then it's going to signal to other people that
yeah,
we're lacking confidence. And you know what? It also doesn't build trust.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Important, important.
That's right.
It builds that foundation of trust with somebody else. So if you're a public speaker and you're on stage and you're not confident, your body language is not confident, it's going to signal to your audience that you're not an expert,
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
right?
That's right. That's so well said. And like, let's start with us, you, me, and the colleagues on the call. That confidence is a learnable behavior, and you get better at it. And then we assume people in the key positions, they've got this figure out. No, we all show up every day, and we are all rookies. So I talked about the quality of eye contact. That the eye contact, that when I'm with you, shake hand with you, or when I'm presenting, I see you. I see you looking at me. And many people look to see that, do you like what I say? Are you criticizing? And I try to say, are you looking at me? Or are you just smiling or not smiling? So we then modulate our response or presentation based upon that, versus I have a message to share. Let me share my message. Then I invite your feedback, your comments. The other thing that pay attention to, I also mentioned the body posture, is the quality of voice. What I've seen this is different in men versus women. So what men I've seen when they trying to project confidence and a sense of almost like alpha dog, they overshoot, that the voice become very strong, projecting a very almost command and control voice, and at times is not appropriate for the setting, for the meeting, but it's very loud volume projection, and they miss the tonality. Every sentence has a beginning, has a high point, then you drop to be in the moment, versus I need to take command. They see confidence as command. So part of that, when I do this kind of work with those individuals, ask them, the client, saying that, how are you feeling in your body right now? Bring them to the body. What are you sensing? How do you like how you coming across? Do you notice that? So when I do that with your iPad, it can be phone, 3 minutes recording, 3 minutes playback like a sport, another 3 minutes. When people see their voice, how they talk, they almost always says, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Then we do a redo, we do a redo. With women, what I see happened again, it's not always, but very often, the voice becomes almost too soft, like a younger girl that becomes softer and is almost men overshoot, woman undershoot, like becomes quiet, becomes gentle as a way I'm trying to fit in. So some of the exercises that I do with women client is I bring Katy Perry's Roar song. I love it. And I share with them saying that show me your roar. What is the sound you have that is sound of your soul? How does it show up? So then I go in, if you're in a conference room, I go to the other side of the conference room and I would invite her to show me your voice without raising it to the point you need to shout, but show me your conviction, show me your belief as a way your voice, doesn't come from the throat. That's where it becomes soft. It comes from your belly up. That is the voice of your soul, of your belief. These exercises for men finding your voice and women finding your voice almost always startle people. Usually there are tears and a sense of, oh my gosh, I've been trying to force something or just, like trying to make myself too small or too big versus find you. You already have a rhythm. You never got a chance to practice it, or the ghosts of your past, they're haunting you. But once you practice it in those 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, you get to experience it physically, connect, then bring it to the elevate, and then finally edge. So you becomes a body memory. Confidence is all about physical body memory. So you can say, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And then you deliver that.
Truly incredible. I think there were so many great nuggets of information that was shared today. Truly incredible. But this is something that, impacts a lot of people.
Yeah,
Again, I think it's one of those things that people they're suffering from. But especially as leaders, you don't want to necessarily admit to your boss,
yeah, yeah,
I'm lacking confidence,
yeah.
because right? You don't wanna say it out loud. It makes people feel like that they shouldn't be in that position when this is something that happens to a lot of people. This
Cool.
is not an isolated incident, right? There's a lot of people who can benefit from this type of training and education and coaching and development, and it makes really good people great.
Yeah, that's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
it's that difference between, just being great and the greatest you can be.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
being a higher just version of yourself, right? The kind of self that believes in you.
Yeah,
Imagine imagine that for everybody that's listening to this, what would happen if you believed in yourself more? How would the course of your life be completely changed if you
that's
just
right.
had sheer self-belief?
That's right. Believe in yourself. I love that. And you're a parent. I'm a parent, and one of the best gifts we can have with our own children is to instill these behaviors in them. And what that looks like, our kids, they show up and they talk any way they want. Kids are kids. And for many parents, I know I've done that. My son is David. David, be this way, be that way. We trying to do what Alice Miller talked about, false self, in telling him to be just like your dad, and the way to shape him versus channel him, invite him. Like here, when he gets angry, wonderful. How do you use your energy, your wisdom as a way for them to learn? Go into that, find your body. How do you show the anger? How do you show, what is your point of view? Where do you want to take it? So that instead of holding back, they learn additional skills. You also mentioned people call me and says that, I want to work on my confidence. Should I take a presentation course? Presentation course is helpful. It shares some, it's really about information sharing. What it often misses is the quality of connection, reciprocity. That one is about contact sport. That confidence is a contact sport. You do this in relationship with others. So You get in, you show yourself, you invite other person or people, and then you do something together. You
Yes.
guide the direction. So it's really about being in the middle of the mess, holding your own, but together doing something.
I love that. And, in my book, I talk about, going back to being a parent. I talk about it being a cycle too.
Yeah,
And that's not anything I necessarily thought of before I started writing my book. And I just kind of started to see
yeah,
that, you know, I confidence, can be a learned thing, or lack of confidence can be learned. If you look
absolutely.
at your parents and your mother or father, let's say, is extremely unconfident, well, you could look at that and learn that behavior and adopt it as your own, right?
That's right.
And it can be a cycle, but good thing is that cycles can be broken.
Mhm.
So we can break that cycle of unconfidence, if you will, for ourselves, but also for future generations, and then that ripple effect. And that's why I like how you mentioned that confidence is not necessarily all within, right? It has a ripple effect that
Yeah.
when you connect with others, they actually feel it. It's an energy. I liken confidence to a vibration. I feel like
I love
there's
it.
an energy exchange, don't you?
That's right. Exactly. Energy exchange. And then what confidence is not, and what a lot of social media are trying to convey to us, is that confidence is not being invincible. Is
Right.
not that you, the smartest, the best, the coolest person in the room, so you can dominate others. As Brené Brown shared, that you can be deeply flawed, vulnerable, messy, and confident. Confidence, confidence means that you know your humanity. We all have broken parts. We all. And then you show up, says, I know my hurt, I know my weakness, I honor that, but also I know my strength. So do you. Let's figure something out. That's confidence. Confidence, going to that what I showed, is about connection, trust, and a courage to do something together, me in it, versus I need to be strong. In fact, I love, for the picture of a book, instead of saying a strong woman and man, say confidence, they look great, those are all the wrong picture. I don't know what the right picture is, but it's just you're around the table with your messy hair, with your pajamas, and getting things done.
That's
That's it.
funny. That's funny. For the front cover of my book, a little segue here.
Yeah,
So I took that picture that's on the front cover of my book
yeah.
right after teaching a college class about personal branding and just showing up correctly on LinkedIn and social media. I felt confident after that, right?
Nice, nice.
I felt confident after that, and I decided to take a picture. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't know it would eventually be the cover of my book,
yeah,
but I wasn't flexing in the picture. It
yeah,
was an authentic pose, but
yeah,
it was one built on confidence, and I actually felt confident.
yeah.
So my hope was that people looking at the cover would also feel my confidence, and I
Yes,
think it worked.
yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. That's how you felt. That's how you felt. You were not there to dominate. It's just how you felt. That's
That's
how you
right.
felt.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh,
In
I love
fact,
it.
I invite folks who are on this call, send us to Taro and me a picture of you that you feel in your confidence. I have a picture in one of my LinkedIn posts 2 months ago. I'm sitting behind the kitchen table writing, which that's where I sit, and I have my beanie on. And I get this call, So some people wrote me and said, dude, this is not professional, you don't look really in charge. I said, it's me. That's me in my private moment. I want people to see how when you don't see me in Zoom, that how you see it. And I felt good about it. And other people wrote, I love that. So we all have a way of we see ourselves. When you see yourself, you show like that. That's how you allow and invite others to be themselves.
I love that. Show up with authenticity.
That's right.
That's such a key. Not many things build confidence than just aligning with who you naturally are. And guess what? It's a lot less work than
That's
trying
right.
to fit into some mold of somebody else, right?
That's
And
right.
part of that is just identifying what your goals are, what your version of success is, and not living up to somebody else's mold
That's
and standards, right?
yes,
Um,
just like LinkedIn member wrote, oh wait, it's moving, says that my most confident pictures are of me laughing and having fun. Yes, yes, this is exactly it. You being you allow others to be themselves, and that's how we make magic happen.
mhm,
Yes,
absolutely.
I don't
Yep.
agree with. Yeah.
Yep. This is not about fake anything. What
Yeah,
we're talking about is real problems, for real people that solve, issues, and that's what I wanted to do today, and I think we accomplished that. But it's not about fake. It's not about arrogant. It's not about pretending to be somebody else.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is about aligning with your most authentic self
yeah.
and just taking steps to constantly, connect with others and learn about ourselves and how we
Yeah.
can get ultimately to that best version of ourselves. But
Absolutely.
Dr. Ardeshir, I love it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for this beautiful.
May I just, like, I want to give a challenge to folks. So people who work with me, clients and patient, they know this. We end all of our session with the following three practices. So I invite all the listeners to do the following as a way to move toward your confidence, the high level of confidence. Just think for your next hour. You don't have to make it, don't make it next hour. Do the following. Whenever there's an interaction, a meeting, or a Zoom calling, the following. One is that be present, ground yourself, breathe, find your base, find your seat, be present. Number two, for whatever purpose of that interaction, conversation is, speak your truth. Speak your truth. Your truth could be at times, could, if it's me, many times, is the worst idea in the room, but is your truth. Find a way to say it so you heard. The moment we hold back our truth, we lose confidence and being in the moment. Be present, speak your truth. Again, you can work to how to make your truth be heard. The third one is that be open to whatever unfolds. Confidence gets messy when we go there trying to crush it. The alpha dog trying to say, you listen to me because I'm doctor, executive, so on. Their confidence is a contact sport. You have a great idea, others have a great idea, and the meaning of the moment is different. Whatever needs to happen to get something done, follow the wisdom of the moment. Be present, speak your truth, and be open to whatever unfolds. As you do that, you create confidence in you, in others, and together getting something done. So I invite you for the next hour, practice this presence, truth, and unfolding. And you find yourself really authentic presence and confidence.
I love that. Present,
Yeah,
present minded. So important. We can't act in the past. The future's yet to be. But
yeah,
what we all have control of are our actions at this present moment.
that's right.
So live to your truth and align with it. Dr. Ardeshir, what a fascinating interview. I know this helped a lot of people. And again, this is a very relevant topic, right? Authentic
Yes.
confidence. So, so powerful. But thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, my friend. And I know this won't be the last time. So, yes, I'd love to have you
Thank
back on
you.
the show again. But until the next time, thank you for everyone who tuned in to the show today. And we will catch you on the next episode. Take care.